So apologies for the previous video, the microphone was not quite well. So last video we looked at how Chelsea can actually build from the back. We looked at how Chelsea involved their goalkeeper, their center backs, their central midfielders in the build-up phase. Now we came to understand how Chelsea are actually able to create overloads. They're able to create situations where they're able to manipulate the opponent through their quick, intricate passes and their flexible movement during build-up, and how this enables them to free up areas of the pitch which do not have a lot of players where they can easily exploit. Now Enzo Maresca is introducing positional play to Chelsea, a system that is famous with teams such as Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. So in our video today, we are going to try and look at the 3-2-2-3 structure. That is the middle third structure that Chelsea have when they look to attack. We'll also look at comparisons with how Mauricio Pochettino used to attack at Chelsea, and to try and get some similarities and differences that they have with Enzo Maresca. But before we even start, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now when you look at Chelsea building from the back, Chelsea build from the back quite often, and the main aim is to draw opponents to press them aggressively high. But there are moments in the game when the opponents do not choose to press Chelsea aggressively high, but rather are looking to conserve their energy by looking to sit off Chelsea and allow Chelsea to progress with the ball from the deeper phases, or Chelsea manages to beat the opposition press. Now under Mauricio Pochettino, we had some various tactical aspects that Chelsea were trying to employ in this kind of system. Now Mauricio Pochettino Chelsea looks to build with a 4 initially, with their wingers looking to be the one to cut in closer to Jackson, something that we saw Palmer and Raheem Sterling do effectively, and these are things that Chelsea really were doing last season. And once they did this, the fullbacks will be the ones to push forward and look to generate width for the team, with Chelsea looking to create a box at the back with the 2 central midfielders deeper and the 2 center backs with 1 attacking player in behind them. But sometimes the right back was quite injured, and sometimes we started to see Chelsea even play Disasi at the right back, and he was much less aggressive and would look to hang back. But even later on, we started to see Chelsea looking to push Conor Gallagher and Palmer in this position, and having Chelsea build with a wide back 4, with fullbacks playing as slightly wider and upper, but not overlapping, but looking to actually create that width down the wide areas. Now the problem with this situation is that Chelsea was susceptible to quick counter attacks, especially through the middle, because Caicedo was being isolated in these positions, and this actually saw the rise in the number of goals conceded by Chelsea last season. Another thing we noticed that is towards the end of the season, Mauricio Pochettino decided to change his overall attacking structure by having Chelsea look to tuck in 1 center back into the back line, especially the right back in this case, and 1 center back in midfield, with Marco Cucurella being the inverted fullback in this kind of situation. The main aim is to ensure that Chelsea had the balance between attack and defense. Now this was even much more exemplified by Enzo Maresca and how he wants to play, as we saw him actually introduce a different system to Chelsea when he came into, not just the copy-paste system that Mauricio Pochettino had put Chelsea into. Now under Enzo Maresca, the wingers start out wide with earlier on, the right winger would tuck in into the right half space while one midfielder will move in. This is against the game against Manchester City, with the right back looking to be the one to generate the width, something that we saw Malo Gusto do in this game, so that Chelsea could create that 3-5 against Manchester City, with Lavia and Moises Caicedo playing deeper and Marco Kurela tucking into the backline. And you can see this structure clearly, but the double pivot was not just a double pivot that played close together, with Caicedo playing slightly further and creating that staggered approach that actually created problems for Manchester City. But in this game, I saw a tactic that Enzo Maresca will deploy against teams that look to sit in a mid block. Now, when the opponent decided to go man-to-man with Chelsea's back three, and we had times when Manchester City did that, when they played with that front four, the wide players were looking to press the wide centre-backs. We started to see Chelsea looking to move into a different kind of system, with Sanchez pushing high up to play as the third centre-back, allowing Marco Correa and Malo Gusto to play and act as wing-backs, with Lavia and Caicedo giving the width, so that Chelsea could have that 3-5, but not only have that 3-5, but also have wide outlets, with Marco Correa and Gusto generating the width, playing as wingbacks. Alternatively, Chelsea could even shift to the back four, with Robert Sanchez moving into that midfield position and looking to play as a right-sided centre-back. Now, this was very crucial for Chelsea, in that Chelsea actually wanted to stretch the pitch as well as have numerical advantage, because they would have a 3v2 advantage over Manchester City in this 4-4 structure. And because Chelsea were able to create that structure, we started to see Manchester City sitting off them and looking just to try and cover the two double pivots and mitigate that central overload, allowing Chelsea to have Colwill step onto the ball and the centre-backs playing wide. Now, one advantage that Chelsea had against Wolves is that when Wolves tried to implement this against Chelsea, Chelsea spread their centre-backs wide, having only Colwill play as a single centre-back and the wide centre-backs playing almost like fullbacks. Now, this will stretch Wolves a lot, allowing Chelsea the license to actually access the midfield quite easily. Chelsea were able to make passes in midfield, look to break lines effectively from these positions. Another weapon that Chelsea used was to play balls over the top, especially looking to play those balls over the top for the runs of their wingers or their right back or their fullbacks, and this further exacerbated problems for the opponent and showcases how Chelsea were actually better in looking to exploit these spaces in behind and get opponents off guard. You could see clearly how Chelsea would play those balls over the top, and this sometimes created problems for Manchester City, and Chelsea's runners making runs in behind was also much more devastating for opponents to try and deal with. And this sometimes even created problems, because now Chelsea would have their players in areas where they could actually make crosses. I think they scored one goal against Wolves in that kind of manner. And this is when you decide to sit off them and play in a mid block. They will most likely look to play those balls. Colwill can play those balls. Kukurea can play those balls. And I also saw Fofana playing those balls towards the channels. And this is when you insist on... now, another difference we saw is that Maresca inverts the right back and the left back tucks in behind. And the reason why he wants this is so that the left back can squeeze into that left back position and they can try to create an overload down the left. And once they create an overload down the left, the main aim is to drag the opposition towards the left-hand side. Once they drag the opposition towards the left-hand side, in this case, they are able to create overloads in those areas. And once they're able to create overloads in those areas, they are able to shift play quickly. We saw this against Wolves and how Chelsea managed to score a hat-trick against them. They looked to drag Wolves onto one side of the pitch. Once they dragged them onto one side of the pitch, they will ensure that they have Noni Madueke in areas so wide. Sometimes Jackson will drop deep to receive the ball and link up with Cole Palmer in this case, or sometimes Fernandez, who has pulled into that wing back position, will just play a quick switch ball on to Noni Madueke down the left hand side and look to make runs. And these are the pillars of positional play that we are actually seeing in Chelsea during their attacking phase of play. Now, the pillars of positional play that we are seeing is qualitative and quantitative superiority. Quantitative superiority is creating a numerical superiority in attack, numerical superiority in defense. Numerical superiority in one side of the pitch so that you can draw players onto one side and have a lot of quick switches of play. Switches of play are also an important facet of positional play. Qualitative superiority in having great 1v1 wingers in the wide areas so that they can be able to take on their fullbacks as well as the attacking midfielders to occupy those dangerous half space positions where they can use their incredible creativity, their vision, and their passing to slip in passes for their wingers and their forwards. This is just one area that Enzo Maresca is actually improving on. So we look at how Chelsea are looking to play in the attacking third. Apologies for the earlier error, and yeah, let's see in our part 3 of this video. Thank you.